like a damn fool.
Are people getting more stupid and gullible, or are politicians more crooked?
I mean, if I had known that the bar was this low to get into frontline politics, like fuck politics, I would have just run more scams. I would have run hundreds of scams.
Why does the British Prime Minister keep chasing the approval of Trump and Farage?
I think Keir Starmer has a thing for bad boys. That's what explains this. Is Keir Starmer has a thing for bad boys. He does. Bow, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to another episode of Aid Thompson and Other Disappointments. Coming to you live tonight, Tuesday night. Coming to you from the shittest town in Hampshire, the aftermath of Ballsack Nowhere. It is I, your cult leader of the Binfluencer Massive. The people of the Booge is what we call ourselves in this cult that I'm building, my Patreon following, basically. Gather round and join me now as I spread my joy unto the world once more. Let's do this. I hope you're all well. Hope you're keeping well, or as well as could be expected of you. What's happening in your lives? Are you okay? Are you handling Trumponomics 2.0 all right? Is your pension fund sort of surviving? Ish? Are you scared? Are you scared by the tumult that we are all witnessing in the markets out there at the moment? Is it frightening for you? It's frightening for a lot of us. It's frightening for Republican voters. It's frightening for Democrat supporters. It's frightening even for people who don't live in the United States. British people like myself, British people who have pensions that we've been putting money into our entire working lives. And, over the space of the last few days, I've seen that, well, just gradually go in the wrong direction. I'm not totally shitting myself yet, but, it's not going in the right direction. I'm not psyched by the activity that I'm seeing on the app every morning as I check it, biting my nails. Not totally jazzed about that market activity. How are you guys doing, though? You are the important ones, the listeners who keep the show going. How are you guys faring in these fiscal seas that we are all sailing together? Like I was thinking earlier, how weird it is, how strange it is, how refreshing it is in totally the worst way ever. Like how unexpected it is, I suppose is a better way of saying it. How like when I was younger, I always saw politics as kind of boring, I always thought politics was for much, much older gentlemen, mostly. I never dreamed that, somebody with a, whatever the fuck this is, this weird, trucker's cap, and then my hoodie, somebody that wanders around in skatewear, suffering from the worst case of arrested development you've ever seen in your life. I never thought that somebody like me would ever be as immersed in politics. I always thought politics was for older, grey-haired, boring men in brown suits. Or at best, I guess I thought, for really clever people. Economists. Journalists who were well-versed in their areas of expertise. You have financial journalists, political editors, social issue writers. I always thought it would be either, old men, grey hair, brown suits, posh people, or, very, very clever people is how I imagined politics was handled. It was a business for older or more clever people. That's what politics is. It's not for the likes of me. But yeah, imagine how silly I feel now to see that not only is it not for, older, well-versed, clever people who know what they're talking about, people who even have an expertise. Imagine how I feel now to be 44 years old and our entire political, social and economic collapse appears to be resting on a pissing contest between China and the United States, between a dictator and a legitimate moron is what he is. He doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, do I feel silly now? Christ. I mean, if I had known that the bar was this low to get into frontline politics, like if you knew that the standards were this fucking low, that there were this many stupid people out there who would believe anything that you say. Oh, it's a deep state did it. Oh my God, it's a deep... Oh, I totally gobble that up immediately. If I had known that the bar was this low and that were people were this stupid and gullible, like fuck politics, I would have just run more scams. I would have run hundreds of scams myself. And if anybody ever caught me, I would just say, it's okay, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian now. I've just converted this week. I'll come out with that whole Dan Wootton or like Russell Brand line that they all do, where they kind of acknowledge that they've got up to some fuckery before. They just stop just short of actually admitting the thing that they're being accused of. They're like, I've been no angel. Like, what was it Dan Wootton said? Like many people, I'm only human. And yes, I've made mistakes. But I'd like to think that I would grow. It was like along those lines, right? Russell Brand was the same. Like, I've made mistakes, as a Lothario. I was disrespectful. I was this, that, and the other. But I've changed. But this I didn't do. That's the defense that they love to wheel out, isn't it? So yeah, if only I had known how stupid and gullible people could be, maybe I could have ventured into frontline politics. Perhaps I could have started a political party where anything that goes well, I claim it as my own victory. It's it's evidence of my genius. But anything that goes wrong, everything that falls short or fails, is somehow evidence of the deep state or the left-wing economic establishment. Like, maybe I could do that. It's a legitimate career path now, clearly. If only I had known how low the standards are, guys. Like, I tell you what it's like. Right, it's like... when you walk down the street and you see somebody who you really used to fancy, like way back in the day, you'd be like a real firecracker. And you'd be like, fucking hell, she's so hot. I wish I could get together with her. I wish she would never fancy me. God, she's so hot. She's just going to get together with one of my mates, isn't she? She's so hot. She's so cool. Anyway, I guess I'm not in with a chance. She'll just, she's way out of my league, what you tell yourself. And then you walk down the street, like 2-3 years later, and she's pushing a pushchair. It's got a baby in it. And right next to her is the guy that nobody ever thought she would get together with. And you're like, oh my God, I was in with a chance. I had a shot. You're with him. Oh, fuck, man. That's what it's like. Seeing how low the bar is with this shit. Anyway, what's going on specifically? What's happening out there with this economic meltdown situation? I think one of the funniest things that I've seen in the last 48 hours has been the Elon Musk developments. Okay? I talked a bit about this on the paper review this morning. But it has again sort of, developed. It's deepened since then. So a little bit of context first, bit of background. Elon Musk responded to the tariffs situation this weekend. And what he did, he said, because he's a car manufacturer, because he's a Tesla CEO, he said that he would like the US to get back to a place of free trade. Meaning, at some point, even though I'm a Trumper, even though I bankrolled Donald Trump's campaign, although, why would he need me to bankroll him? Because apparently he's a billionaire. That's weird. Anyway, he's like, I make cars, I would like to get back to a place of 0% tariffs on our geopolitical allies, on nations with whom we trade. I'd like to stop making that harder for us American car manufacturers, if that's okay. He says he'd like to get back to free trade. Pete Navarro is Donald Trump's trade advisor, and he's largely credited with brainstorming. Is that the correct word even for this witless, economically illiterate project that they're embarking upon, and we're all forced to just fucking take it? Pete Navarro comes out and he says, well, Elon is a car manufacturer. He's speaking in the interest of the car industry, and that's not how we're approaching this. So he dismisses Elon Musk. Okay. So Elon tacitly criticizes the trade war. Navarro comes out and says, no, forget about Elon. Fuck him. And then Elon Musk goes on this tirade this afternoon on X, and he calls Pete Navarro a moron. That's what he calls him. So it's like the wheels are coming off the MAGA machine. You got Pete Navarro trade, you got Elon Musk, Doge guy, like they're arguing amongst each other because there's no actual logical base for this project. That's the real problem that they have with it, isn't it? Is nobody actually logically backs this. That's a real problem for everybody apart from Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is deluded, probably, grappling with the very early stages of the onset of dementia, just like his dad was around this age. He lives in a fantasy world. He constructs new realities for himself. Expects people to run galloping along with him, which more often than not they do, right? But it is still a fantasy. We'll do tariffs and then that'll bring in loads of money for the United States. It's completely devoid of logic because it doesn't consider the fact that all of these other countries with whom you have to trade wouldn't then reciprocally punish you for it. So it's doomed to fail. It doesn't work in reality. And so the people in the background are like, oh, we should totally stick with what Donald says. And then, Elon's over here going like, no, well, this doesn't make sense. This is really gonna hurt me. Meanwhile, like more people in the background are going like, you seem to be doing a pretty good job yourself of hurting your own share price. So how about you shut the fuck up a bit, Elon? And what's interesting about this is how many times did people on the left, cynical, snarky content creators like myself, and even the less snarky ones, people like, those on the news agents or probably on, The Bunker or Oh God, What Now? All of that lot. Many, many people said you can't have two empathy bin narcissists like Donald Trump and Elon Musk in the same project. Like it's two big fucking egos, two big sociopathic narcissists. Both of them want to be the star. How are you going to reconcile those two? There can be only one, guys. And even though Elon Musk clearly has his problems. You know, even though Musk, supports neo-Nazis over in Germany, even though he runs a disinformation production line that is X, even though he's embarking upon some really weird investment activity where he effectively buys X off himself to dig himself out of that huge kind of debt hole. I still haven't really worked out what has actually taken place there, but I know it's dodgy. There's no, why would you buy it off yourself after it's been devalued by 2/3? Anyway. So Elon Musk has his challenges, but he does, broadly speaking, still inhabit reality, doesn't he? Like, he runs businesses, and those businesses have to respond to trade activity, to investor confidence. Donald Trump is not challenged or troubled by anything like that. Like, Donald Trump is just a drunk pit bull in a dogfight, surrounded by kittens, just like, arr, arr. I'm going to tear this fucking place up. Stand back and watch me. Fucking dare me, is what Donald Trump is like. What's my point? I can't remember now. The other thing that I thought was funny about the last 48 hours was how similar the MAGA PR campaign has been to the movie Don't Look Up. Don't know if you saw that movie. Very famous one. I think it was nominated for a couple of awards here and there. It was it's a movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's a scientist in it, and they see that there is this sort of imminent threat of an asteroid hitting the Earth. Okay. And the way that I assume it's a Republican president, I don't know, the way that the president in the movie responds to this imminent threat to life on Earth is to construct a sort of mining operation, isn't it? Like, they find out that there's lithium and precious metals and minerals and stuff on the thing. So instead of sending a missile up to blow this thing to pieces, they see it as an investment opportunity. And then they start lying to the crowd. They're just don't look up. The asteroid's not real. And all the people are obeying her, just witlessly obeying the president. Don't look up. It's a trick. They think you're stupid. It's all of that stuff, right? And the Republican, Fox News flavored coverage the last couple of days has really been not that different to that. It's here you've got Trump, and he's spooking the markets. That doesn't even really cover it, does it? He's rolling out these tariffs. Investors are rightly hugely concerned. They're pulling their money. They're selling their shares. Consequently, the value of those shares to anybody else that wants to enter the market is going down and down and down and down. And this is affecting pensions. You guys know this, right? You're smart people. And the Republican Fox News response to it is they're telling people on Fox News not to check their 401ks, which is the American version of our private sector pension system. You work at Vodafone or, BT or Boots or whatever. For every £10 you pay in, then the company will pay in £30, and eventually at the end of your service, and you've got this big pension pot, right? And that pension pot will be invested in some FTSE 100 companies, or maybe the Dow Jones if you're over in America, or the NASDAQ. And because those pension funds, those 401ks, are absolutely sinkholing, Fox News are actively telling people, their viewers, to not check. Don't check your 401k. I'm not worried about it. I'm not checking my 401k. No, don't panic, don't sell, you don't need to check your pension. Like, what kind of a fucking news organization? I mean, I use that term lightly, but what kind of a news institution actively tells its viewers to disinform themselves? It's like the opposite of providing information. It's like, don't look at the fund. It'll only upset you.
Losing money costs you nothing. Everyone loses money. It costs you nothing. In fact, it builds quite a bit of character. In fact.
And you know what? I don't really care about my 401k today. You know what? Not that I can afford it. Not that it isn't important.
Yeah. So that's fun. It's like the next step on from them removing the stock market ticker, which I think I spoke about. Did I talk about that on Friday night? About how Fox News normally have this little stock market ticker in the bottom right of all of their shows. And then off the back of the tariffs and the chaos and the implosion and the nosediving values of the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, the dollar, somebody presumably up high was just like, get that fucking shit off the screen. You're making us look bad. I looked at a video earlier by a guy called, God, what's his name? Coinzilla or something? Can't remember his fucking name now. A really interesting guy, though, like a very, very big, prominent YouTuber who I really should remember. Oh, actually, I've still got his fucking video up here. What's his name? Voidzilla. Is it Voidzilla? Oh, Coffeezilla is his actual name, and then Voidzilla is like a different account that posts stuff of his, maybe like a clips channel. Anyway, so this Coffeezilla guy posts a thing like lampooning Fox News and all of these like right-wing influencers because of the way that they're responding to this actual crash that is truly, like, I mean, it's either like reality or it's not reality. Like, in reality, here, now, American Republicans, MAGA voters, and Democrats are all losing an absolute shit ton of money, right? That is what is happening. And he's like posting clips lampooning these right-wing influencers and Fox News hosts where he's just like, look how they report this. Where they're like, it's only money. At the end of the day, it's only money, all right? It's not actual, like, liquid cash.
Losing money costs you nothing. Everyone loses money. It costs you nothing. In fact, it builds quite a bit of character.
It was always speculative. So, you haven't lost anything. It will be measured by the time that you liquidated. I think we all need to chill out, Dave. That's what I think. Everybody's got a touch of the heebie-jeebies about this. But honestly, these things go in, peaks and troughs and ups and downs. It's fine.
There's a boom and a bust every 10 years.
All right, we've all been in the game long enough. We know what investment is like. You could lose your entire thing. It's not fair to blame Donald, poor, helpless, innocent Donald, for every little activity in the stock market. It's, anyway, can we cut to commercial now? It's, it's that. That is the vibe. And then just for shits and giggles, he spools back to some of the same right-wing influencers and hosts for like how they responded to a actually not that serious mini crash by Kamala Harris.
It's bloody Black Monday. Holy moly. The Kamala crash is here. Kamala needs to get in front of a camera today. People are losing their homes today. People are losing their fortunes today. People are losing their 401ks today.
And the contrast could not be more stark. It's just hyperbole. It's hysteria. It's amped up to the fifth gear. It's like the Kamala crash. Oh my God. She should be thrown in jail. She's totally economically illiterate. This is real.
Losing money costs you nothing.
People are losing their 401ks today.
This is just the reality of life.
People are losing their 401ks today.
It costs you nothing. In fact, it builds quite a bit of character.
People are losing their 401ks today.
Liquidate your assets right now, because this shit is over.
The Kamala crash is here.
It's over. We're done. It's incredible. Like the bias, the prejudice, the hyperbole that they run to when the president that's in the White House is not their guy. What else is going on out there in newsland? Loosely related, guys. Loosely related. A poll came out earlier today. Don't know if you saw it. I heard about it on a podcast. It's about the US, and it's about what everyday Britons think about the US, because we all exist in an information kind of bubble, don't we? We are informed, we like to think, by mainstream and, less mainstream news conduits, and they help us to arrive at an opinion. And, the Prime Minister and other people, Foreign Secretary, whatever, are also privy to similar conduits of information, and they're probably actually privy to even more information, security clearance information, censored or classified documents of information that would allow them to arrive at an opinion that we arrive at like 2 weeks later, way before us. So you would imagine that we, the Brits, and those in power, i.e. the Labour government at the moment, would be broadly on the same page with America, wouldn't you? But it is interesting, right? So listen to this shit. Only 43% of Britons, now less than half of us, consider the United States an ally. How about that? We talk about building bridges. We talk about Keir Starmer being a bridge. We talk about global Britain. Then we talk about a special relationship. And in the last, 12 weeks has it been now? Since Trump re-entered the White House? Now less than half of Brits would consider the United States, who have for the last 100 years, by the way, to wheel this one out, right? For the last 100 years, they have been inarguably our closest military, economic, strategic partner, right? Think back to, Obama coming over here, talking to Gordon Brown, David Cameron, George Bush getting all chummy with Blair, your Churchills, your Roosevelts, Reagan and Thatcher. 100 years of the special relationship. As much as I mock that phrase on podcast episodes gone by. And now, in the space of 12 weeks, Donald Trump has savaged that relationship to the extent that only 43% of us now actively consider the United States as our ally. Guys. And it gets worse for Trump as well, because only 28% of Brits actively consider Donald Trump as a friend of the United Kingdom. 28% of us look at Trump as our friend, as an American president, as someone that we could rely on. And the reason I bring this poll up is because I think it's really interesting to look at how Brits look at America versus how our Prime Minister, who's supposed to represent our concerns on the international stage, how our Prime Minister is behaving. If you have a geopolitical ally who mocks you for not having fought a war for 40 years, which itself is a lie. So he's not just whereas J.D. Vance, right, Vice President, they're not just mocking you for something that's actually a bit callous and insensitive, but it also happens to be untrue, right? Who also then lies about your free speech laws, who meddles in that discussion from afar, which has, fuck all to do with the American government, by the way. It's a domestic British political issue. It's got nothing to do with you. Butt out. If you have someone who appears nonchalant about why you want to meet with him. Like, do you remember that? When people were like, so are you looking forward to meeting the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer? And Trump was just like, yeah, I don't know what he wants, but I guess so, right? If you have somebody who gleefully accepts your state dinner invitation from the king before then still fucking you off with tariffs while not tariffing adversarial states like Russia, where there are actual free speech restrictions. And all the while, everyday people in Britain are like, he's blatantly a Russian asset, though. He works for Putin, doesn't he? I mean, that explains everything. Like, everyday people have arrived at these conclusions. Everyday people don't trust him, and they don't consider the United States an ally anymore. Not a reliable friend is how people see them. Like, if that was the stage that was being set, and if that's how my people kind of looked at it, like, firstly, I would be circumspect about how cozy I was appearing to be with him. I would be, politically, poll-wise. I'd be like, this guy is brand cancer. Like, what is it John Crace used to say about, was it about Theresa May? Like, they have the reverse Midas touch where everything they touch turns to shit. It's like, it's the same with Donald Trump. Everyone who is in his orbit is expendable. They all end up in prison or broke or sued or bankrupt. So firstly, I would be circumspect as fuck about hanging out with him or being cozy or being seen to be being cozy from a political perspective. If so many of my own people see him as a threat, I would be if I was him. Secondly, I'd be running for Europe, man. I'd be like, yeah, is it too late to rejoin? Like, could we rebroach that conversation about a European army? Is it too late for that, maybe? We pick up where we left off. Thirdly, I think I'd feel like a bit of a tit. You know, constantly being led up the garden path by my dick. Like this carrot on a stick trade deal seems to elude everyone but Keir Starmer. He's like, oh, we should just stick at it, send the negotiators in. Yes, get Peter Mandelson in. Get Peter Mandelson. Get the king on board. I'm sure it's just around the corner. Like, I really feel like, you know, whether it's make a success of Brexit or I'm going to be a bridge between the European Union and the United States, or like, what was it that he came out with today? It was something on Sky News earlier, where Keir Starmer, he just referred to the tariffs situation as like a challenge. He was like, yeah, these tariffs, it's a challenging situation for us to get through. And there's a sort of implicit subtext to that he thinks he can do this, that he can somehow weave us and sail us through this storm and make a success of it all and somehow foster a productive and reliable trade relationship, special relationship, if you will, with this absolutely batshit unreliable lunatic. Like, it's a reality that seems to only elude Keir Starmer. Like, everyone else has made up their mind. They've answered to polls. They're like, I don't trust him. I think we should distance ourselves. It's only Keir Starmer who's like, I think we can do this, guys. Like, why does he do it? Why is he running away from public opinion to chase the affections of the dictator, of the wannabe dictator, authoritarian, who loves Putin, who's shipping people off to Guantanamo Bay for the horrendous crime of having tattoos? I don't know if you saw that one. Some poor guy happens to be like Hispanic, happens to have tattoos, and they just bundled him in a van and sent him off there. No trial, no charges, no criminal history, just like, oh, you're brown with tattoos. You look a little bit gangy. Are you gangy? No, I'm literally a barber. He's a barber. The guy, a singing barber. They had footage of him doing karaoke, singing these camp songs. Bundle him into a van. Off he goes. Offshored. No lawyer. Bye. Why is he chasing the affections of that guy? of Trump, not the singing barber. And I've got a theory, guys. I've got a theory. See what you make of it. I think Keir Starmer has a thing for bad boys. That's what explains this. Is Keir Starmer has a thing for bad boys. He does. It's the only thing that makes this make sense. Is like, yeah, he could turn around the other way, face Europe. You know, he could cozy up with Europe, progressive, pragmatic, welcoming, compassionate Europe. Europe who makes sense, Europe who have got a plan. He could get together with Europe. But it's just not exciting, is it? Oh, it's not dangerous. I'd love me a bad boy, he says. That's what explains this. Tell me I'm wrong. Keir Starmer has a thing for bad boys. Not even geopolitically either. Domestically, parliamentarily, he's got a thing for bad boys. Like he could be chasing the votes and the approval, the affections of Ed Davey. Couldn't he? Of the Liberal Democrats. Ed Davey's a nice guy. Obviously very caring. Some people describe him as Keir Starmer's conscience. Because he comes out with the sort of left-leaning, anti-Trump, anti-Putin rhetoric. The things that Keir Starmer should be saying, more often than not, you will hear them more quickly coming out of Ed Davey's mouth. Although that could be because Ed Davey doesn't have a stammer in the same way that Keir Starmer does. But that is where But why is he not chasing the votes from Ed Davey? Why is he not chasing the votes from the Liberal Democrats? Because they have more seats than Reform, don't they? They've got a bigger parliamentary footprint. You would think there'd be more of an electoral threat. But he's not chasing the electoral footprint or votes or influence of Liberal Democrat voters because they're the nice guy. Keir Starmer loves a bad boy, so Keir Starmer is chasing the rhetoric, the approval, the affections of who? Of Neanderthal and fucking Nigel Farage. Isn't he? Because Keir Starmer loves a bad boy. He's all up in the Express and the Mail saying shit like, oh, you're right, sir. You're right to be upset about illegal migration, about all of these bloody asylum seekers. Right, Nige? Right, Lee? Ha ha! Keir Starmer loves a bad boy. It explains everything. It explains so much. People. Should we try and round off with something positive tonight? Let's try and round off with a fun news story for this midweek show. And I will just remind you that I do 2 of these a week. One in the midweek, which I usually put out to Patreons and YouTube community members first for 2 days. So if you're not a member of the channel, if you're not on Patreon, it does start at only £1 a month. And we got the Patreon meetup coming up on, I think it's Saturday, the 6th of June. From memory, I can never remember the fucking date. Whatever that Saturday is, that's the date. Saturday, the 6th of June, I think it is. So sign up now if you want to come along to that. That'll be in London. You also get access to the Discord chat, private Discord chat server thing with me and the rest of the Patreons. And I have put up like an invite to see if anybody wants to do a Skype call with me, because there's quite a few of you now. We've done a few calls before. I've chatted with Mojo Sabian and Stu and Peter Del Monte, a couple of others, and you're all charming bloody wonders. So you are. So that's another benefit. You know, if you want to get involved in the Patreon or the channel membership, do give it a look, guys. It does start super cheap. Or, you know what, if you're just enjoying the show and you don't want to get involved in all of the other stuff, like the community stuff, there is a tier on there, which is like, it's literally like £1 a month. It's like, it's called Just Showing Some Love for £1 a month. So you could just sign up for that. Anyway, let's get on to a fun news story, shall we, guys? Okay, so check this out. This is on Fox Business. Guys, billionaire televangelist. Do you know what a televangelist is? The guys that stand there with the Bibles preaching to the camera. They ask you to donate to their church. For only $100 today, you could get salvation. Those guys, right? Crooks is what they are. They run mega churches. They make bank, bruv. They're so rich. Living off that. Like, here's the ridiculous thing about what they do. It's like in the Bible, it says it is easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven, doesn't it? So it's like, and they constantly preach about how Jesus was a poor man. Jesus was a humble man. He was the son of a carpenter. But these guys make bank, people. Anyway, televangelists. Billionaire televangelist slashes price on $14 million Florida condo amid scrutiny over church wealth. Guys, $14 million condo for waving his book around on cable. Let's get into it. It says, the wealthiest religious broadcaster in the world is looking to offload his luxury condo in Florida. The wealthiest one in the world. Wow, he's done all right, hasn't he? No downturn in that market, is there? The $14 million condo. The wealthiest religious broadcaster in the world is looking to offload his luxury condo in Florida. The beachfront residence of Brazilian billionaire televangelist Edir Macedo in the ultra-exclusive Porsche-designed Tower Miami is now listed for just under $14 million after a price cut, according to public real estate records. Like, wouldn't you feel like a bit of a tit? Wouldn't you be like, you know, like you're a priest, you're a preacher, you preach the word of God, Jesus, the meek shall inherit the earth, you know, and you phone up for food delivery. They're like, well, what's the address? You're like, it's floor 34, the penthouse in the Porsche building. Oh my God, that's nice. That's a lovely building. Jesus Christ, what do you do? I'm a preacher. I'm a priest. Holy shit. Does that pays really well? Does it you're a millionaire or a billionaire? Yeah. Business is good. People are really hurting and desperate. So they're looking for answers. So in they come and I just milk that cow. I milk it all day. Right. Okay. Well, you know, Porsche Tower it is. Penthouse suite. Does it take long to get there from 32nd Street? Is it? Oh, I don't know. You'll figure it out. I use a chopper every morning. You got a private fucking helicopter? Oh yeah. I got a tagline on it and everything. Christ died for your sins. I fly for your service. So, right. You know you're going to hell, right? Is that right? Well, you know you're going to miss out on a tip, all right? So, it says, Macedo, founder and bishop of the Igreja Universal de Reino de Deus, Universal Church of the Kingdom of God, in brackets, is no stranger to lavish living or controversy. His net worth is estimated to be $1.8 billion, ranking him 1,901st on Forbes real-time billionaire index. Like he's literally on the Forbes list of the super wealthy. I wonder if he campaigns against a wealth tax. Like, that would be really fucking wild. If the guy who's preaching, asking you for donations to do well, to alleviate the pain and suffering and poverty of others, is also concurrently like, I don't know if I need to be taxed super hard. Like the helicopter, the chopper needs a service, man. I need these penthouses. I need the 32nd floor of the Porsche Tower. The higher up I am, the closer I am to God. I need it. His net worth is $1.8 billion, ranking him 1,901st on Forbes list. By comparison, Kim Kardashian's net worth is 1.7 billion. So he's 1.8. Kim Kardashian 1.7. So he's just pipped her. Who do you think's more pissed off about that? Who do you think's more sort of ashamed, pissy about where they sit on that list? Like, Macedo's accumulated $1.8 billion by lying, by taking advantage of the poor. He's become a billionaire, preaching the word of God, which is like the opposite of what he's doing. He's amassed $1.8 billion. But on the other hand, Kim Kardashian just like fucked a guy on night vision. Just sucked off Ray J. And that became a snowball event. Now she's a fucking billionaire. See, this is what we do on this show, on this podcast. We ask the awkward questions that other shows, other podcasts shy away from. Who should you be more disgusted by? Who shows the problems with society more? The fake priest making billions, exploiting the poor? Or the fucking night vision fuckdoll billionaire? Answers on a postcard. It says the Porsche Design Tower, a $560 million architectural marvel completed in 2017, is famous for its car elevators that transport luxury vehicles directly into private condo garages. Like, I don't know if you would actually want a fucking Porsche car. Like, I mean, that feels gimmicky to me. I think I'd be upset by that. If I paid like $20 million for a Porsche Tower condo and they were like, yeah, this is your elevator. I think I'd be like, it's a car. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, it's a Porsche Tower. It's the Porsche Tower, Mr. Thompson. So the elevator is a car. I think I'd be like, does it have to be? Well, it's the Porsche Towers. Of course it's got to be a Porsche car you climb into. Takes you up to the 32nd floor in your Porsche. Because it's the Porsche Tower, the Tower Porsche car lift. I think I'd be like, I mean, I've been to the Chrysler building in fucking New York. I didn't walk into the elevator. It was a fucking Chrysler Cruiser. You bellend. What am I paying $20 million for this? I mean, like, this thing is overpriced. It's in a horrible area. I'm surrounded, like, my next door neighbor is a fucking priest. Keeps knocking on my door, asking me for collections in his diamond and ruby encrusted collection basket. What the fuck is going on with him? Like, I hate it here. I paid overprice for this shitty apartment with my terrible neighbors and my Porsche elevator. Do you know what? I'm going in the Porsche elevator right now. Just awkwardly climb inside this car-shaped fucking lift. Ugh. Push the button that I can't reach. Twist the emergency thing so the lift gets stuck. And then just rev the fucking Porsche and kill my fucking self. Fuck that building. Let's continue. It's famous for its car elevators that transport luxury vehicles directly into private condo garages. In 2013, The Real Deal reported that nearly 24 of the homes, 22, under contract will belong to billionaires. Wow. Yeah, so if you want one of these gauche, crass, charmless and tasteless hell condos, you can only get hold of one if you're a billionaire. So yeah, that is either a lot more Patreons that I need to get, or a lot of night vision dick sucking needs to go on. If you've got your eyes set on these. Or, you know, maybe if the markets keep going the way that they're going, maybe give it a couple of weeks. You could pick one up for 20 quid. You know, when the NASDAQ and the US dollar, like £1 is worth $50,000. Maybe you could pick yourself up a bargain. I'm just saying. Every cloud, guys. Let's round this off, shall we? The tower has a mandatory homeowners association with monthly fees ranging from $4,000 to $12,000. Macedo's neighbors over the years have included international celebrities like Lionel Messi, Colombian pop star Maluma, never heard of him or her, Mexican actress Talia, and Andrea Romanello Ferdinand, daughter of Patrick Romanello, who the New York Times reported was alleged to be an associate of the Bonanno crime family. Wow. All right. But it says the Florida condo might not be the only real estate Macedo's family holds in the US, according to property intelligence database. A property intelligence database reviewed by watchdog group the Trinity Foundation. Another Sunny Isles beach condo worth $9.6 million is linked to the family of the preacher guy. Yet, according to the Trinity Foundation's research, the Miami-Dade County property appraiser lists only a Shell LLC as the owner, with no names publicly attached. You see, that's what you got to do, guys. If you want to beat the housing crisis, you want to get a foot on the ladder, you got to start yourself a church or cult. Start yourself a church or a cult. Get all of that donation money in. Say, oh, I need this. I need this to help the poor and the stricken, and tell them that eternal salvation can be theirs for only $59.99 a month. And then you get all of the money and you funnel it out to a shell company with nobody's names attached. Can't be dragged up on it. This is what you got to do, guys. You know, people often say that there's no solutions to the housing crisis. There are solutions. You just have to ask yourself the question, what would Jesus do? Guys, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, or, you know, if you're listening to it tomorrow, Wednesday, whenever. I'll be back on Friday night with the Friday Night Live show, which I'm enjoying doing very much for you. Week in, week out, every Friday, 7:30. And of course, if you don't catch me in the podcast, you can always catch me Monday to Friday doing the alternative paper review. First thing, well, I was going to say first thing. It's more like, you know, I put them out about 11:30 most days. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Until next time, keep it booge, keep it influencer. And we are out this motherfucker.